And a migrant has been stabbed and injured on a small boat in the English Channel today. The dinghy was one of 8 small boats that reached UK waters on the busiest day of channel crossings so far this year. An improvement in weather conditions has seen an increase in criminal people smugglers attempting to launch multiple small boats from French beaches. And this comes as a new report shows the government's plans for housing asylum seekers is set to cost more than using hotels. Well, let's get the thoughts now of our Home and Security editor, Mark White. Mark, welcome to the show. Before we get into the cost of asylum seeker accommodation, can we start with dramatic developments of a violent incident in the Channel?
Yeah, it's been a really busy day of breaking news relating to the small boat crisis. What we can confirm at this stage is that a migrant has been stabbed and injured on a small boat as it crossed the English Channel today. One of 8 small boats, part of a record-breaking day this year. 450 migrants that made it to the UK compared to 401 the previous record day earlier this month. Now, this incident was brought to the attention of UK authorities around about lunchtime today. Border Force vessels and 2 lifeboats attended the scene in the middle of the English Channel. They took those migrants on board those vessels. The injured migrant, we don't know any more details about them at this stage, was taken on board the Walmer lifeboat and taken to Dover Harbour, where an ambulance was awaiting that lifeboat's arrival. Our Kent producer filmed exclusive images as the ambulance was there on the quayside, the paramedics there to treat that injured migrant as they came off from the lifeboat. Now, the Dover lifeboat was also in attendance. It took the more than 60 plus migrants who were on the boat at the centre of this stabbing incident on board their vessel, came back to Dover, and there a number of police officers were waiting by the quayside to check those migrants as they came off the boat, obviously concerned that there may still be a weapon there. The migrants have then been taken, as far as we understand, to the processing centre run by Border Force at Dover Harbour for more in the way of checks. We don't have an awful lot more about this incident, how badly injured this migrant is. We've reached out to the Home Office. They said that Kent Police are taking the lead on this investigation. So we've reached out to both Kent Police and the South East Coast Ambulance Service for any information they have at this time. But we can confirm that a migrant on board a small boat crossing the English Channel today was stabbed and injured. And of course, our audience might be asking, why on earth would an incident like this unfold on a small boat? But what sometimes happens in the chaos on the other side of the channel on the French coast is that you get some migrants who don't have the money to get on board these boats, who just try to force their way on the boats in the chaotic scenes as the boats are launching. And sometimes the gangmasters, the people smugglers, deal with that in a violent way. So that might be what we saw unfold there. That will obviously come out in the fullness of time.
OK, Mark, and more grisly news today. The National Audit Office has released its report into the frankly staggering cost of asylum accommodation. Home Office expecting, Mark, an eye-watering and astonishing £1.2 billion on its large sites programme alone, costing more even than asylum hotels.
Yeah, the National Audit Office figures show that the cost of redeveloping and converting various larger redesigned sites for use by asylum seekers will cost an expected £1.2 billion. That, they say, is about 46 million more than if those migrants were kept in hotels. Now, Rishi Sunak, of course, in August of last year, promised that he would end the use of asylum seekers in hotels. That was not suitable, he said. It was taking, of course, these hotels out of commission for communities where they're often a vital asset for weddings, other key events. They're no longer available. On that front, the Home Office have just announced this afternoon that by next Friday they will have handed back 100 hotels to their local communities again, having put migrants either in rented accommodation or into these sites like the former RAF Wethersfield base, the Bibby Stockholm, and eventually to the old RAF Scampton site. And on that National Audit Office finding, what the Home Office say is it doesn't tell the true story. Yes, there has been a cost, and a significant cost, in the way the Home Office has kind of rushed through to get these sites in play, to get them redeveloped, probably paid a lot more than they would have done had it been done on a slower time scale. But they say that once the upfront costs of developing the site are dealt with, actually over the longer term, it makes much more sense and is cost saving, much more efficient to keep asylum seekers in big purpose-built or redeveloped sites rather than paying £8.2 million a day to keep them in hotels.
OK, Mark Wyatt, a thorough and excellent summary. As ever, thank you for joining us